JP. And that's the way I like it. 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 That's the way I like it.
Hi, welcome back to Princess Core. Thank you so much for choosing to watch another video of mine. I'm so happy to see you. We're basically besties now, you know that, right? Okay, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss any video, and let's get into this look. Today's look is a brown tone look with a little teal shimmer. Saw this look on Pinterest and I loved it, so I had to try it. If you try it, type in your looks and let me know how it turns out. I absolutely love everything about it, the blush placement, everything, full coverage, just flawless airbrush finish without the airbrush. So let's get into this look and I will see you in the video. Mwah. I will insert the inspo picture either here or here for you to see the look we're going for, and then you tell me how good we did with the look.
Hey lovelies, are you ready to transform into a gorgeous sexy fairy? Yes? Okay, sit back and follow along. I've listed all the items I used, but I'm not running a strict program here. You can switch up whatever you want, whatever product. It's the technique that matters when it comes to makeup. This is going to be a quick tutorial, so under 20 minutes. In real time, it should take you maybe 40 minutes, because in real time this look didn't take me long at all. It took maybe 45 minutes, but I want to say closer to 40 minutes because I already had my lashes done. So after you brush up your brows, which is what I like to start with, you will take your concealer and apply this underneath your brows and above to give it the desired shape you want. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer Stick in the shade 53N. I'm not doing too much to my brows today because I'm wearing a pixie, and my pixie is going to cover my brows. So just like a really quick touch up to just make sure it looks right and it matches the rest of my makeup look. You can already see I have to hold up my hair in order to actually do this. Could have used a pin, but I didn't think of it. We're going to apply the concealer under our brows to create the shape we want, but don't worry if it's not perfect. We're going to use a brush right after to blend in the concealer, and then we can really create the shape we want. If I wasn't wearing a pixie, I would be spending more time on my brows because the shape of your brows can make or break your entire makeup look. I like to use a flat brush to blend in my concealer. This is the same concealer brush I use for my face. It's from Fenty and I really love it because it has a pretty big bristle, so it covers a large area and you don't need to overblend. For this, you're not doing too much. You're just blending out all that concealer you've put on top of your brows until it's barely there. You want to make sure you're not changing the shape as you blend in, and if you want to change the shape, then you might want to apply some more concealer. Next, we're going to go in with a concealer to prime our eyes. We're doing our eyes first today because we want to make sure the eye look is perfect, and whenever I'm doing shimmer on my eyes, I like to do it first so it does not fall onto my face and cause a mess. My shade of the L'Oreal True Match Concealer is not 615N, but I do use it as a brightening concealer. I don't think they really have my shade in this line of concealers. They do have a darker concealer, but it wasn't really my shade, and honestly, they could do better with the range. Range is not the best, but it works for brightening concealers, I guess. We're going to blend in the concealer on your eyelids with your concealer brush or a beauty blender, but I recommend a brush because it retains more of the product on your face. All the list of products are on the screen as I'm doing them, and you will also be able to find them in the description. I'm just doing a follow along talk through for those who like to listen for instructions. I like to start doing my eyes from my outer eyes, so I am applying the dark brown shade from this Morphe palette onto my crease and my outer eyes. I'm starting with a darker brown shade and going into my outer eyes with it so that I can really define the shape of my eyes. We're going to be using different shades of brown, so starting with a darker shade on your outer eyes gives you enough room to add in the lighter shades of brown and room to blend them all together so it doesn't look like you're wearing different shades. That's the power of a good fluffy brush and technique. You will apply different shades of brown, but they will look like one consistent shade. You'll notice I'm using the same brush for the lighter brown and darker brown. This is because I'm blending them both in together, so I actually don't need to use different brushes because I don't need to see the different distinct shades of brown. I just need my outer eyes to be more defined, and darker shadows are best for definition. Morphe actually makes one of the best eyeshadow palettes I have ever seen and used because their palette lasts years, literally. Never get tired of using them. You want to make sure you're really blending in both browns on your eyelids. I don't want to see two different shades. I want them to look like one shade. Yes, your inner eyes will be brighter and some of your crease will be brighter, but we will add in more definition later. All I need you to do right now is blend in the two shades of brown shadow you're using on your eyes so that it looks like one seamless brown, but you find your outer eyes will still have more definition because it's a darker shadow. When you can't tell the end or beginning of one shade or the other, that's when you know you've blended enough. Once that's done, the next step is adding in the shimmer. This look is very simple but very cute. I couldn't decide if I wanted a blue or green shimmer, so I chose to mix a blue and green shimmer to give me a sort of teal color, and that was more similar to what was in the inspo pic. I'm using the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette for this. I really love this palette because it's so versatile. It has a lot of shades, a lot of matte shades and shimmery shades. So I'm using the blue and green shimmer shades from this palette. You want to put the shimmer just on the tip of your outer eyes, but make sure it's on both lids.
I'm just like stupid at this. I'm like technically entering a flow state right now. I like the way my face turned out in my last tutorial where I used foundation. And you guys know for the last like year or two, I haven't been using any foundation. So let's use foundation tonight. Yep, that's the one. And this shade is 01.
So I don't want the shimmer sitting on just the top of your eyes. I want them on both lids at the corner of your eyes. As you can see, the shimmer is sitting very nicely blended at the corner of my eyes on both lids. Next, you're going to go in with your foundation. I like to just pump it on my face and then blend it out as I go. You want to use light tapping motions and not rub the foundation into your face. I say this all the time. Tap, 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 don't rub. Even if you're using a beauty blender and not a brush, which by the way, I just switched to using brushes and I've been liking it. I use both now. When you get to the bottom of your face, so I'm talking about your jawline, you want to really make sure that you're blending in those areas until it's smooth and there are no patches. It can be easy to miss the patches, especially when you're in a hurry like I was, but just make sure that when you're blending, you're taking your time to make sure the product is really blending out smoothly. I don't want you to overblend. That's not really an issue with foundation, more of a concealer thing, but at the end of the day, just make sure it's smooth without overblending. Next, we're going in with our first base of concealer. We're using the Fenty Wear Even Hydrating Longwear Waterproof Concealer. Love this concealer because it's very smooth, easy to blend, and it doesn't really cake or crease unless you leave it too long before blending it out. For the placement, you want to place it right under your eyes, but don't pack it right under where your crease is. You're going to blend it into that area, so you don't need to pack concealer on there. And don't spread it too widely on your face because as you're blending, the concealer will naturally spread out. I put some concealer on my forehead, my chin, a little around my lips, and a little just under my cheekbones. These are the areas of your face that light hits naturally, so putting concealer in those areas helps accentuate them. I'm using a beauty blender now for all these small areas because 1, they are small areas, and 2, it's just faster blending with a beauty blender. Brushes are better for precision. We're going to blend our face first, but not under our eyes. We're going to blend our lip, nose, forehead, and chin first while we let the concealer under our eyes dry just a teeny bit, not too much. Remember, with the Fenty concealer, you don't want to let it sit too long. Just let it sit for a little bit before we start blending. If you're not letting your concealer sit, you've probably noticed your makeup comes out very patchy and grainy, and it doesn't give you the smooth airbrush finish you want. You have to let it sit and make sure that you moisturize your face. Didn't do my skincare on camera, but skincare is really the first step to having a flawless face. If your skin is dry, it will show in your makeup look. Now I'm using a concealer brush, the one I showed you earlier, to go into this concealer and tap lightly, spreading it onto all the areas I want concealed, and also using it to shape my face. The direction that you blend your concealer will determine the shape that your face will take. So I like to blend my concealer upwards towards my eyes in order to snatch my face. Now I've been experimenting with blush placement because it also does play a crucial part in how your finished look comes out. Experimenting with placing my blush just above my cheekbones instead of on top of it, and I think it adds to the finished look by creating this illusion of higher cheekbones. I'm going to use a short fluffy brush to blend in that blush and tap lightly. Make sure that it's not leaving any patches as you blend. If you want, you can use a setting spray in between your steps. I usually forget, but it is recommended to create a more seamless look. Remember, the direction you blend is going to shape your face. So if you want a snatched look, always blend upwards, not sideways. Now we are halfway through this makeup look. We're going to go in again, this time with a cheek stain. This is the Revolution Jelly Brush stain. I just got it and needed to see how it looked. I was actually surprised to see that it was a stain, but it came out pretty okay. It literally feels like jelly and it's very light. So if you're looking for pigment, this is not going to be the product for you. I hope you can hear me okay. I am hearing back the sound now, and it sounds a little low, like my mic isn't picking up all the sound, so I hope y'all can hear me. Leave me a comment if you can hear me and the sound is actually audible enough. Now we're going to get into the brightening concealer. I really love how this is coming out. As you can see, the first layer of concealer has blended really smooth. I know the makeup look is going to be fire when I love it already, and I'm only halfway through. So now the next step is our brightening concealer. We're going to apply this just underneath the corner of our eyes. Do not spread this as much as you spread the first base of your concealer, because this is a brightening concealer meant to brighten only under your eyes. While that sits, because you do have to let it sit for a minute or two. You can use any brown pencil that you prefer. The first pencil I use is just a generic brown pencil liner. The pencil I'm using right now is from Fenty Beauty in the shade Whiskey. This pencil looks absolutely stunning, and I find it doesn't rub off as easily. Our lipstick base will be this NYX and Bridgerton lipstick in the shade Praline. Absolutely gorgeous shade. This is the first nude lipstick that I actually love on me. I usually don't like nude lipsticks on myself. This is more of a gloss stunning lipstick, but it has a thicker consistency than regular lip gloss. Now we're blending in the brightening concealer because we do not want to let it sit for too long. I'm using an angled beauty blender instead of the brush because I want a really soft and smooth finish. Remember, even as you blend, you don't want to spread the brightening concealer too much, and you don't want to overblend. Just tap until you get a smooth consistency and stop. The magic here really happens once you let the concealer sit, and your technique for blending is soft tapping upward motions. You'll notice my brightening concealer isn't too bright. This is because I prefer a more subtle bright under eye.
Now, can you guess what's next? If you can guess, I'll give you $10. Scratch that, I'll give you $1. Setting spray. Our Revolution Fix. Shake, 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 shake. And spray.
I'm using a setting spray in between this step and the next step because next is our setting powder, and we want our face completely set from our wet products before switching over into dry products. Do not skip this step if you want a smooth glow. When you apply dry products on top of wet products while they're still moist, your products will not mix together and it will break. This is why even when you blended your concealer really smooth, it could still get cakey and patchy. For setting powder, I'm actually using a blurring powder by UOMA Beauty. It's a cheap and smooth powder. For blurring powders, you don't need to pack them on like setting powders. You just tap lightly and it blurs your concealer. I found that I actually prefer the finish of this blurring powder to the finish of my setting powders. Blurring powders basically do what I thought setting powder did this whole time. Like I said, this is a finishing powder, so don't pack it on like you would a setting powder. Make sure you're dusting off the excess powder from the powder puff before applying it to your face. Optional, but you can also apply it to the rest of your face, but not your entire face, only the places where you applied concealer. Next, grab a powder brush and dust off all that excess blurring powder. You want to use a big fluffy powder brush for this so it can really catch all that excess powder. Now, because we can never have enough blush, we're going to go in with a final layer blush. Using the NYX Bridgerton blush palette, this is called The Queen. I like to mix both the pink and red shades. It gives such a gorgeous hue and I absolutely am in love with it. I got all the NYX products I used in this video, the eyeshadow, the blush, and the lipstick as PR for free from the Bridgerton ball. If you haven't seen my vlog from the ball, you need to watch that.
Powder, and this is like our final step because using this makes sure that our entire face is one consistent shade.
Ladies, we are at the final step of our makeup using the pressed powder. This is the L'Oreal Infallible powder. My shade is 355 Sienna, and this is the last step because this ensures our face is one consistent, smooth, blurred shade.
Go back into the eyeshadow palette to give my eyes some more definition and some more hood. I'm going to use this dark cocoa brown.
Now that that's done, let's add a little bit more definition to our eyes. So I'm going back into the NYX Utopia palette and using a dark cocoa brown to add a bit more definition to my outer eyes. And I'm also going to go over my bottom eyelids with it. I like putting eyeshadow on my bottom eyelids, but not too much because then it can make the look over dramatic. If you're applying eyeshadow to your bottom eyelids, remember to do this before doing your mascara. Be careful with the bottom eyelids. You don't want to irritate your eyes and start crying. Do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I'm seeing? No filter, no filter. And it didn't take me 2 hours to do this either. Let's add some final finishing touches. Gonna go into the corner of my eyes again with a little bit more shimmer. Really give it definition and make it pop. Then we're going to put a pink lip gloss on top of this lip combo. To blend the shimmer properly at the corner of your eyes, make sure you're using a small pointy brush.
Lifter gloss.
I literally cannot get enough of the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is the shade Bubblegum Pink. Did I mention this is one of my favorite lip glosses? This is probably my third tube of Bubblegum Pink, and I have other shades too. The consistency is perfect. The pigment, the color, everything about it is 100. It's the perfect shade of pink to put on top of any lip combo. This is personally one of my favorite looks so far because it's so simple and elegant. You can get this look down in less than an hour, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that your makeup look turned out amazing. Tag me in your looks if you do recreate. I would love to see them. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on the post notification. What was your favorite part of the makeup look? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in my next video. Bye till then.